for us with operating and playing around with the equipment and getting some hands-on experience, but we also have some great speakers to talk about a demonstration plot, good practical practices for weed management, scouting, and even a look with our robot on the possible future of weed management in small-scale and large-scale farming.
She's a cultivating tractor. Today we're going to be working on just turning up the soil around these cabbages here. I'll let y'all take a go at it. We have these two guys that are going to just go in between, and the sweeps in the back. Who wants to go first?
Rob? Well, I don't care. Show us how to do it.
You've driven some old tractors before?
I've drove tractors.
Okay. Drop the sweeps down. We're gonna try to get them so that they're right, like barely underneath the soil. You don't want to sink them all the way down, because they'll start pulling the roots up. So just get it right on top, and then drop the backs down too, and just kind of do another pass.
So these are the two-wheel cultivating tractors. This one's by Tilmor. These are kind of modeled after the Planet Junior two-wheel tractors that were popular in the 1940s before chemical agriculture became more prevalent. When everybody starts doing this, they want to look directly down and make sure they're not killing any plants, and that's the easiest way to kill plants. What you actually want to do is sight it, like a rifle. So you're just keeping the cabbage right through here and keeping a line of sight. Yeah, we're good. So we're going to start you off at this speed just until you feel comfortable, and then we can go a little faster.
This is a basket weeder, and so it's a combination of a set of spiders on the front that sort of disturbs and breaks up the crust on the soil, and then you get the baskets that flip the soil in the back and pull the roots up. This is really great for frequent shallow cultivation, but you can see out here in places where we got some nut sedge and some other things that are a little more established, it just rolls right over them, they stay put, you know. So if you miss your window, this isn't going to be such an appropriate tool. A couple things to keep an eye on with this tool though. What's great is that it's chain driven, the spiders drive the baskets, and they're set up where the baskets actually rotate faster, and so when you really get going, it'll throw some dirt. Now, the thing to watch out for is trash will get hung up in this, especially in the spiders in the front, or rocks. If you get a rock wedged in there, it'll hit that toolbar and lock the whole thing up, and if you don't notice it right away, you'll be pushing a wall of material up. And so that's kind of a weakness with this. So this is a pretty good plot to use this on, but like if you were in really heavy soil or really rocky soil, it might not be so appropriate.
All right, so this is our spider gangs implement. You can see these guys are the spider gangs themselves because they look like spiders. We do have a shank at the front, and that's just to kind of help settle this implement in when it first starts going, so you're not just bouncing off. The spider gangs are slightly tilted inward, you'll see as we get started going. The whole purpose of this implement is to do the major cultivation between the row middles, loosen things up, and to kick some of that back onto the plastic beds themselves. The reason being is because the next implement that we'll use after this, our finger weeder, then comes through and cleans things up really close to the edge of the plastic. Let's look at basic operation. I'll get y'all going.
The whole idea for thermal weeding and the space where I think it works best would be getting a direct seeded crop. If you time it just right, you know, you've just had a flame weeding event, perfectly clean beds, and your beets start pushing through thereafter, and you can hopefully get yourself to canopy closure. And so really it's a timing deal. Like, I want to get as close to when the beets are out of the ground or when the beets are, you know, resistant to this thermal treatment to run the fire without burning up my crop. The way that the thermal treatment works is that it's breaking down the cuticle of the plant. When you break down that cuticle, you have extreme evaporative water loss, and then you have the plants die down.
My name is Claire. I am a grad student of Dr. Bertucci's, and my thesis project is studying how well this robot can cultivate and what other kind of benefits it might bring to a small scale farmer. You know, labor is a big issue, finding workers, and the cost of wages are going up so high that a lot of people who are dependent on hand weeding are finding that to be a big problem. It's basically a tractor that is able to run on crop maps that we program into the robot. And so it doesn't know anything other than I'm here, I'm following this line, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna follow this next line. And then we attach whatever implements we want to the back of it to do whatever task or activity that needs to be done in the field. For example, Dr. Bertucci wanted to see if we could bury drip tape with it. And so we took apart the normal toolbar that would go in the back of a tractor and just took some of the components off of it, attached it to the robot, and it laid drip tape beautifully. It buried it 6 inches underground. It worked really well. So the map we used to lay the drip tape is the same map we then use to seed upon. And then once the crops come up and it's ready to start weeding, then we use the same crop map to weed next to the rows.
So I do think it's in this exploratory phase, right? Where a lot of people are pushing things and it's like, we'll see.
And so that's what I'm talking about with if you have a way to bust up these clods, because otherwise this is just like a weed home, you know what I mean? Like a pod. Yep, exactly. It's a little island for the weeds it's a life raft for weeds, right? So, but in general, that's pretty good. You're doing really good. I'd like to turn your speed up. Cool? Yep. Boom. Just like that, really nice. Kind of fun, right?